Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Sarah binti Baharudin and my fellow friends. So we are from group Dracula simia, which the landscape architect Siti Munira binti Tazidin, Siti Mazatul Hawiyah binti Muhammad Puan, Nur Fairuz Atina binti Fadzila, Nur Kasih Amira binti Muhammad Zain, and Nurul Izzah binti Muhammad Azmin. So today we are going to present our project with the title Upgrading Project of an Abandoned Backyard into a Retreat Garden. So without further ado, let us start with our presentation. So the next slide. So first process for the landscape design is we need to make a base plan. So the base plan is the plan that we draw according to the actual site. So next slide. So this is the base plan for our abandoned backyard with the size of 35 times 20 meter, and we are using the scale ratio 1 to 100. And next, let us move on to our second step, which is site inventory and site analysis for the hardscapes. So for these sections, we need to analyze the strength and the weakness of the element. And we also need to decide whether we want to remain, renovate, or remove the elements. So let's start with the hardscape that we want to remain. So the first one is uplight because it provides a good lighting for the trees and the hedges at nights. And we also want to remain the compost bin because it exists in a suitable corner near the sheds. And next, for the hardscape that we want to remove, which is trellis because it is not well maintained and it is also frail and not steady. And another things that we want to remove is the rotary dryer because we think it can act as an eyesore obstruction. So next slide. So the fifth hardscape element is the bench. It is broken, so we decide to remove it, and we also have a resting area which is too near to the compost area, and it is exposed to an unpleasant smell. So by that we planning to move it to another places, and there are also a shed at the right corner, which the size are too large, and it make it not fully maximized. So we decide to renovate the sheds into the smaller size. And last but not least, we also have the raised bed, which is not in the right area and arrangements. So we are planning to move the raised bed to another suitable places. So next, let's move on to the site inventory and analysis for the softscapes. So next slide. So here there are 3 trees and 1 shrubs that we decide to remain all the trees, which is Ficus microcarpa due to the large canopy which can provide the shades, and Plumeria alba which has a nice fragrance, and Bucida molineti which is attractive. And we also want to remove the shrub Acalypha amintacea, which we think it will obstruct the view, and we are planning to remove it. So next slide, please. So here we have another 4 softscape element, and we decide to remove 3 of them, which is bougainvillea, hibiscus, and ixora. So we want to remove hibiscus because it is too large and it is too tall and also not well maintained, and we want to remove ixora because it is dry and not growing well because it does not get enough sunlight. So we decide to replace it with another shade tolerant plants. And on the other hand, we decide to remain and do maintenance on the turf, which is Cynodon dactylon, because it can provide a nice view for our backyard. So that's all from me. I pass to my friend for the next process.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Izzah. So I will explain about the next process, which is bubble diagram. Next slide. So this plot that we are working on is quite spacious, and we are going to use the width of the plot to create 2 different type of garden. So on the left side, you can see here, we will make it as a formal garden, which has a quite simple design with well proportioned and symmetrical. And on the right side, this is the slightly informal garden where we will have a resting area and gardening area. So our concept is a retreat garden where the customer are going to spend more time in the garden. So we will fill this garden with plenty of different greenery species, from climbing vine to ground covers. And we noticed that there's a white window here, so we decide to add planting features in front of the window, because the view out of the window are important for customer. So next. So our garden retreat garden will have planting area, gardening area, and resting area. So these features are going to be explained in detail by my friend Munira.
Hey, Assalamualaikum. My name is Munira and I'm going to present about the preliminary plan. So, next slide. So, as mentioned earlier, we propose to divide the area into two parts, which is formal area at the entrance and also the informal area at the upper part. So, how we divide it, we put the low retaining wall, and the wall will function also as sitting place and also planting bed. At the formal area, we add a gazebo and we change the pattern of the pathway and add more light walk to help the owners and working at the night. And so we move to upper part. At the upper part, we plan to make it more casual for the family. So we create a area that can be enjoyed, create enjoy activities. So we add pond and also the taking area that have sitting place, and also at beside the pond is the greenhouse, and we place the planting bed near the compost bin. So that is master plan that going to be presented by Fairuz.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Fairuz. I'm going to present on master plan and perspective. Okay. So the changes we made in master plan is the type of stone used for the pathway, which we use flag stone, and we also changed the position of the flower bed in front of the windows. Okay. Next, I'm going to present the highlight structure on our plan. Okay, first up is a koi pond. The pond is functioning to add beautiful creature to the landscape, and also the pond we built the pond with a water wall to create a nice and ambient sound of water. The pond also will give a cozy and a calm environment for the resting space near the pond. Next is the an archway that are built as a door to another area and added with a climber to enhance the structure of the archway. The retaining walls that have they also have retaining walls that have a function as a planting bed, also designed to have a built-in bench. Okay, then we have a 25 meter square gazebo that can give a comfortable space for a family leisure time. Okay, next slide. Okay, as a focal point of our yard, we decided to have a circle patio area, which at the middle of the circle, there is a landscape boulder. The landscape boulder which are very in size, is planted with some species of shrub and ground covers. This will give a more natural and authentic looks to the yard. And last structure is a greenhouse. The greenhouse is built near the shade and planting bed that give much easier access for the owner. Okay, then I will pass to Kasih to explain in detail on planting.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurkas Amira. I'm going to present planting schedule and planting plan. This is our trees and the symbols, shrubs, ferns, ground covers, aquatic plants, climber. This is the picture of the plant for planting plants. Number one is a plumera. We decided to put another one tree along the old one to add more shape. Between the plumera, we choose a Chinese French flower. This shrub is used to increase privacy for the owner. In front of the mirror, we put cordyline to fruticosa to give a color contrast for this area with bird nest ferns and small screw pine. For the circle, we put storm lily around the circle, and at the middle of the circle, we put some screw pine, fall helper, and some storm lily to give harmony between hardscape and soundscape. At the left of the garden, we put buchida. We put trees so it looks more prominent and formal for their guests come to visit. For ficus, which is number 3, we remain this tree because it has large canopy, so it's suitable for family picnics or rest underneath the tree. For the retaining wall at the middle of the garden, between the chair we put Phyllanthus microfolius. At the middle we have gate garden, and we decided to put some sandpaper vine because at the retaining wall we have green Phyllanthus. So purple sandpaper vine can be focus point in the middle of the retaining wall. Next, we move on to the next part of the garden, which more like gardening and family resting area. In the pond, we put water lily and umbrella palm, and at the side of the pond, we put shrub, which is white false cedar. At the back of the sitting area, we put some phyllanthus and heliconia to give color contrast. And at the side of the resting area, which is number 4, we put bamboo sanana to make it like a wall that spread gardening area and resting area. For the tree at the side of the pond, which is number 13, the tree at the side is fern tree because we want to give a little bit Balinese theme so that when they rest in this area, they can feel like they are on vacations. Next is number 11 and number 10. At the garden area, we put some lemongrass and pandan beside the bed. And in front the greenhouse, we put some white falsetto. Okay, that's all from me. We move on to the costing.
So next, I will explain about costing. Next slide. So the preparation cost for our project is will cost 27,000. Next. So for the softscapes, all the plant materials for the installation and all will cost 2,545 ringgit. And for the hardscape will cost 66,400 ringgit. For the maintenance for 6 months, it will cost 7,200 ringgit. And the total cost for our project is 103,145 ringgit. So the most of the cost went to hardscape since we add more structure to our project, and most of the hardscape are not functional, so we need to replace them. So that's all from us. Thank you.